Hi, my name is V, and welcome back to my YouTube channel called Up Close and Personal, where we discuss things that are usually not talked about. Before we proceed, this subject can be sensitive, and not everyone may be receptive. I kindly request a moment of your attention to share my perspective. I implore you to listen with sincerity and empathy, allowing the depth of emotion to guide our conversation. Close your eyes. Imagine being in a maze with walls closing in on you. You turn left, continue straight. You come to realize that you are now in a dead end. The more time you spend in this maze, the closer the walls are caving in. It feels as if you are suffocating underneath an invisible weight. The desperation to escape is becoming too overwhelming. Your heart is racing because this moment feels as if an eternity has passed. Frustration is overfilling your body because you keep running and returning to the same dead-end corridors. There's no way out. It feels as if there is no one there to help. There's only one relief, except it does not help you escape. It just temporarily pauses the walls from closing in on you. Now you may open your eyes. Addiction. Addiction is like being trapped in a maze. The way to cope is through a substance or a behavior. Everyone is addicted to something, rather that be jumping from one social media platform to the next, binge eating that one food you cannot seem to stay away from, if you're burying yourself in work life without creating a healthy balance, excessive gaming, if you're incapable of being alone, or if you have a constant craving for the approval of someone else. And there's so much more. True understanding of addiction begins with acknowledging the humanity within each struggle, recognizing that behind every battle there lies a person longing for compassion, support, and hope. A study done in 2021, published by the National Library of Medicine, focused on different individual beliefs related to the legalization and decriminalization of substances. There were 506 participants who had different backgrounds. They were asked standardized questions such as their sex, age, marital status, and race. Then they were asked if they used primary substances such as opioids, stimulants, marijuana, alcohol. There was also an option to pick if they did not use substances. Participants were also asked if they were identified with a particular religion and in their political affiliation. The study concluded that those who use opioids or stimulants were less likely to be in favor of the legalization of cocaine, which is a stimulant drug. Of all the drugs, heroin was the less likely to be in favor of legalization among all participants. As expected, marijuana was the most favored to be legalized. Those who affiliated with a religion had extremely low ratings in favor of legalization and decriminalization. Another factor was political affiliation. Those who used marijuana were majority Democrats and less likely to use alcohol. Participants who claimed to be Republicans had low ratings in favor of legalization and decriminalization of drugs. The study concluded that the support of participants may have been a reflection of their own personal experiences and way of life. The only data that did not fully support the conclusion was that those who did not use substances were in high favor of legalization and decriminalization of marijuana. An article called Drugs and the Brain, published in 2020 by the National Institute of Drug Abuse, speaks on the impacts drugs have on the brain. It compares the brain to a complex and intricate computer. Drugs mainly impact three parts of the brain: the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for thinking and problem solving; the hippocampus, responsible for holding short-term memory and transferring long-term memory; the basal ganglia, responsible for positive forms of motivation; and another part is the extended amygdala, which is responsible for feelings of stress, irritability, and unease. The article claims that the neurotransmitter dopamine caused the euphoria feeling someone feels when under the influence, but now people are believing that is what caused the addictive feeling. The longer use of drugs can cause someone's reward circuits to be triggered and cause cravings of this euphoric feeling. Even if the drug is not available, this feeling can come and go. This also explains why someone who uses or used drugs regularly may feel depressed or lifeless when they are sober. Their brain is used to drugs, providing a temporary feeling of pleasure. The more they use, the more they will have to use. This creates a dependency and a tolerance, eventually becoming an addiction. The main concern is our outcome. Said by Nelson Mandela, the youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow. It is important and vital that we help those after us. Through education and developed programs created from research and firsthand experience, we can teach others. An article created by BMS Public Health titled "Too Young for Cannabis? Choose choice of minimum legal age for legalization non-medical cannabis in Canada, which was published in 2020. It is said in the article that there is not much information on the right age to set the legal limit. This study concluded that in the meantime, there needs to be more monitoring in a regulated market. Products should not target children by being more accessible and appealing. To move forward, we must put an interest in such topics. It should not be seen as a taboo or under the table talk. If there is any change, the first is the stigma. Next is to implement a system to further educate people. A study published in 2020 by the National Library of Medicine called Exposure to Information Increases Motivation to Learn More discusses that strategies used to motivate a student and this will increase their motivation to learn. If you expose the target audience to relevant information, it may influence them to learning more. The more someone knows may lead to better decision making. So, to conclude my video, today I'm asking one last thing. Consider my partnership in this journey of change. Even if the results are not the legalization of all drugs, hopefully the results can be a declining trend of the usage and a decline rate of death related to drugs. I truly hope that this video was informative and there are things that you can take away from my presentation. Thank you.